Hello, everyone. Good morning, good day, whatever time you're joining us. Thank you so much for being here. This is the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and June joined us too. After all, welcome, welcome. We will not be having classes. Well, there's a modified schedule. It's a little different. There are some drop-ins. I think there's classes on Thanksgiving that I checked. I was going to attend Anne's on Thanksgiving morning, but I'm not sure if it's streaming, so I still need to find out. It looks like they might be just in person, the Thanksgiving Day classes, but I'm not sure. So check the website. And so that'll be Monday is our last normal schedule, then all that Thanksgiving time through the weekend, and then Monday we start again. So it's about a whole week of modified. I think there's some drop-ins. There's Tommy joining us now. All right, so let's begin is there any other business to take care of? Let's see. I'll just say this up front here. I just mentioned to those of us who are chatting before recording, I'll be posting to YouTube this recording of this as well. And it will not be on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios channel, but on my own. And so all of you who are registered, I'll send you the link for that, for the channel, how to find me on YouTube. So you'll be able to have the class not just for 2 weeks, but through Sun and Moon's link, but you'll have it on YouTube for whenever you like. Alrighty. The sound doesn't come through Zoom. It might come through my recording. We'll hope for that. Just pretend you're hearing a bell as you see me strike the bell. There's no sound. Isn't that funny? There's some setting I need to adjust. 3 bells to start our practice. You might already notice your breath shifting if you didn't hear the bell, you heard the invitation to start our practice. And we're arriving. It's almost what's coming to me is it in Star Trek, the transporter, as they go in the transporter and somehow it breaks down the body and reconstructs it in another place or something like that. It's almost like I feel pieces of me that are still in, some in the future of planning for visitors, planning for gatherings this Thanksgiving week. Some of it is in the plans for later this afternoon. And there's just a settling of the nervous system as we commit to practice. And so this first phase of just arriving and centering, and we may slide into meditation, we'll see what we do, or we may go into movement. Movement today will be a lot like last week, but I'm going to choose, I'm closer to my couch today, I'm going to choose to flip my legs up onto the couch. So I'm taking us forward into what's next a little bit, and perhaps if you need to go get something like a hassock or a chair, something that you'll be able to put your feet up on your legs, but that's not essential. You can also do it with just your body outstretched on the ground. And you'll be able to do this practice from sitting as well if you choose. I'll give you some cues toward that. So there's the lay of the land. And start to tune in to how you're sensing your body touch what's below you toward the ground. And your hands, whatever your hands are touching, it might be your body. I have one hand on my dog's belly, one hand on one of my feet. That's the ground for your hands. Might be even your forearms or brushing your sides or touching your sides. It's sort of a grounding for them. And then your pelvis, legs, feet, just lingering there as if visiting these parts of ourself, parts of our body's landscape. And this may feel very subtle, or it might feel very available. It's almost as if, as we visit and just attend to feet, pelvis, hands, it's almost as if they tell you more about themselves. A certain temperature, textures, shapes, stories of their past, of all the places they've been and the things they've done. Notice if that might be true for you. So this attention, as we're practicing now, also you may find that it's helping us be present. Capital B, capital P. This so available, so always here. I don't know what the word is. It's not a state, it's just how we are. It's our beingness. And yet so often elusive. One element that helps, so going into our body, to attending to our body. Another element I'm thinking that I'm recalling that helps and feeling now is our togetherness. That we share this practice. And fold in now breathing. So almost it's like our friend Jackie, who's here now, has also had this experience once in meditation. She shared of everything becomes like a symphony. Everything we're hearing, experiencing. So as we fold in the ground sensations, body sensations, togetherness, breath, it's like the conductor pointing to each and bringing in their part. And then sound I'm hearing, not sure if the microphone is that strong, my cat Tommy cleaning himself. And so we call in the sounds and the experiences, sensory experiences around us, coming into us, through us. All right here, now. Dropping us into the eternal present. And so this presencing, I would say what we've just done is a kind of meditation. Probably we've been relatively still, not essential, not necessarily. There might have been some movement, some shifting. But we combined our attention to what's right here, what's right now. And our amazing nervous system picks up on, kind of names it. this connect kind of creates the bridge to our sense of becoming in the world. So I would say if you take the still part for being, the being that's here, the boundless being, and then there's always becoming. The breath is moving through us. It's not still at all. It's touching parts of our inner body, moving, massaging, opening, relaxing. Things are happening. There's becoming. And then this part of us that names it, that gives it, kind of tells our story. Is so linked with our sense of some sort of meaning and purpose of being here. And so this quieting, this resting in our beingness helps us to more and more clearly, accurately see the various parts enjoy the parts, travel, take our next steps when the time is right. It also helps us from this place of quiet and being together, knowing this shared essence, help us know what we can put down. It may always be a part of us, but it can be helpful to put things down. As Oriah Mountain Dreamer writes in this poem, I'm renaming it. I'm going to call it Perennial Blessing. She names it Spring Blessing, but I'm reading it in the fall, and I think it applies anytime. Perennial blessing. One day you wake up able to name the weight you've been carrying, realizing it's not a part of your body or being, and not essential in any way to journeying or joy. You set it down gently without fanfare in the long, soft grass at the side of the road and walk on, surprised to find yourself smiling in the warm sun for no particular reason at all. And so we'll take a few more minutes just sitting quietly, as I suspected. This meditation I've been talking you through, I will get quieter and we can rest in our being together. And at times in this meditation journey, maybe it may feel just delightful For example, if I'm to report, I think it's geese outside, and I feel a kind of tingling warmth in my low back that's quite sweet. And at other times in this journey of stillness, you may find little mind storms that feel like distractions and feel as if they're not part of this journey. But aren't they? And the moment you notice that you're wrapped up in one of those, you might stay with it, you might set it aside and tell it, you'll come back later to unravel and solve and plan. And walk on just in our stillness. Sensing the light and warmth of being. It can be useful now as we segue from this stillness to our movement practice, our mini movement practice, just to mark the end of this phase, this stillness phase, which is, they're all intertwined. We all experience all three: movement, stillness, being, becoming. But it's valuable, I feel it's valuable to note the particular, note and give respect to the particular forms. So I share that, maybe you do, and just find that for yourself, not just take my word for it. So I'm going to mark it by just my palms of my hands on each other over my heart. Sometimes we do that with a bow or the bell. And then letting my hands relax down. Where we're going, as I mentioned before, is to be on our backs, perhaps legs up on something like about a seat level, a hassock, a couch, a chair, or you can do this from sitting. And as I mentioned, it'll be like last week's practice, but with literally a little twist in it. So if you choose to do this from sitting, and we can all just go ahead and shift if you're going to be on the ground, and I'll show you how to get there, and I'll probably come back up to sitting. Doggy is in the way, but I think I can do this. So you'll lay on the ground with room on your side, with room to roll. And if you just you could do this legs outstretched as well, or bent knees. So on my side, and then rolling, and my legs were on the floor, but then up on the couch. So this is a super relaxing legs up the chair position. And we'll just rest here for a little while, and shortly I'll shift, but we'll re-arrive. And whether you've chosen to stay at the seated position or you've modified to be on the ground with your legs up on your calves resting up on a chair or hassock. Find the ground again. Find the way the back body touches on the ground or your pelvis. And in the center of the low belly, imagine, I've often used this image of a golden ball. You can just notice where your mind goes from that image. Isn't there, I'm forgetting now, the fairy tale? Is it I forget, where the princess sees the frog doesn't she lose her golden ball in the well? So notice what images and stories come up in your mind. And just hold them in the vastness of our spacious awareness. You don't necessarily have to do anything with them, but at some point you get involved, or you might be ready to set them down. Just know there's those options. They're just like the clouds that float across the blue sky. And let's try again. I was failing at this miserably last week, of imagining that we let we put our arms out to the sides a bit, and imagine someone's pulling on your arm, one of them, and kind of pulling it out of the socket in that direction, and then releasing. And even as I say not to move, I notice it's almost impossible for something not to be happening. A little bit of engagement, which again is wonderful. That's our nervous system is working well. And just repeat that, where you imagine your arm being pulled and then released back. Or you can imagine that you're reaching out in that direction as if someone's pulling, and that those two different images, two different ways of imagining this happen, may have quite a different feel in the body. And give attention to the wholeness of yourself. So not just the arm and hand and shoulder, although that's fine to hold attention there, but broaden the aperture of your attention to include the side body, the ribs, pelvis. And then let it go. We just did imagining there probably was tiny little bits of movement, which is very useful because you see sort of the initiating parts, which lays the foundation for the bigger movement. You can always fold in breath and be noticing how breath is feeling in the wholeness of ourself. And now, we're not going to do the exact same thing on the other side, but shift so that your lower body twists a little. If your legs are up on the chair, you can just shift your knees over a little. It just doesn't have to be much. It's just so that the pelvis moves a little to one side. And make sure it's just comfortable for you. So legs a little to one side, and then the arm on the opposite side goes into that same imaginary movement of being pulled out from the shoulder, like someone saying, "Oh, I want to show you something, come with me." A child, so if you're lower down, pulling your arm. I have something exciting to show you. And then it releases back. And let the movement, find how the movement can be, find isn't the word I want, be open to how this can be more and more easeful, even this tiny, practically imaginary movement. And then let it become a bigger movement, maybe moving a half inch back. And when you come back to the start position, take a pause there, even if it's a fraction of a moment or a longer moment. And then return to the pull or push, depending on which perspective and story you have. You might even find, I'm not really sensing something different from being where our legs were at center, so maybe you need a little more twist. You could also turn your head toward the direction the legs are in, away from the reaching and retrieving, releasing arm. And there doesn't have to be high intensity. More of what I'm looking for, I'm hoping for us, is an ease, a harmony, an integration. Integration is a big word in yoga, big important topic, chapter, as Eric would say. And then let everything come back to center. Let go of the movement. Come to a still place to just feel and receive what may feel new. Let the body and your being, your nervous system report what's happening. And then take the other side. It'll be just for a little short bit. Knees over, knees, legs a little over to the side. The opposite side we just worked with. Excuse me. And adjust your position so that it's very comfortable. And begin to imagine the arm, the hand, on the opposite side of the direction the knees turn to, gets pulled a bit away from you. The child found something else in its play it wants to show you. And notice, I just noticed my head got turned in the direction of the arm that's imagining movement. But maybe your head stays at center. Maybe it turns toward the bent knees in the other direction, or the twist in the pelvis. And something you can play with. So in my imagination, the movement is happening, it's small, and I'm going to try to make it even smaller, but you might try to make the movement larger, or make the movement, it doesn't take much effort. Make it larger. And again, look for the deliciousness of the movement, the integration. Look for what happens at the golden ball. It's like a very central part of us that all points can be threaded back to the golden ball. Notice the inner pulls and strings and movements that are happening. And perhaps you have a different story around this action. It might be a dance movement. It might be reaching for something in the car, or in the kitchen, or in the garden. Max is back. All right, let it go. Come back to center. Come into a still place, like a super mini meditation here at the end of our practice. And if you like, you can stay where you are. You can come up to seated. If you've been on the floor, roll to your side and come on, push up to seated. And just take in, as you readjust, the various sensations, reports, experiences. That vastness of being. My teacher Russell often says that awareness or being or presence, that boundless part of us, He says, like the sky, it is both clear and warm from the sun's light. In a way, I somehow play with that beingness having no qualities, and yet maybe it's the first step of manifestation or something. I'm still pondering this, how this is, and it might be beyond what my mind can categorize, but there is this clarity and warmth, both attributes of lightness, lightness of being. So thank you for practicing with us, those of us here in this time, Sunday 10 to 10:30, with my pets in the room. And see you in a couple weeks. Have a very wonderful Thanksgiving.
Recording stop.